Hello and welcome to the Livecast. I'm Liz Moore, a communications partner at Integrated Living Australia, and I'm speaking to you from country on the Sunshine Coast. Integrated Living Australia acknowledges Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as the traditional owners and custodians of this country. We pay our respect to them, their cultures and customs, and to elders past, present and emerging. Today, I'm very pleased to be joined by one of Integrated Living's clients in a remote part of Queensland. Welcome, Henry, and thank you so much for joining us. And hello to Colleen, his lovely wife. Henry, thank you. Yeah, great. Colleen, would you like to join? Were you happy to sit in on it? Or, yeah, that'd be lovely.
Yeah,
perfect. Henry, can you please tell us a bit about your background as someone who grew up in the bush and became a cattleman, a champion horseman, a saddler, and much more?
Yeah, well, at 14, I did scholarship on Thursday and I was in the bush by Monday. That was my first job.
Fantastic. And what were you doing?
It was very dry, and it is mostly that time of the year on most properties. We run brumbies to break into work next year, and to just clean up all the brumbies in the paddocks because they're just a nuisance. So we're running those, and the better ones we kept to break in and work, and the other ones we broke in and sold. And we just did all that sort of horse stuff for next year because it was too hot to work cattle, and we just tidied all our horse stuff up because there was no vehicles at all. It was all done by horses, pack horses. Yep. We never had a car. Oh, we had an old Land Rover, and for the whole 3 months we were away, we didn't use one full tank of fuel. So that's how much we rode our horses.
Wow. That's a lot.
We spent 3 months at a time away from the head station. We stayed for there 3 months before we saw the head station. And the manager used to come out weekly and give us our supplies and our mail.
And you had your father with you, did you?
Yeah, he was the boss. He was the head stockman. And yes. So I was the youngest in the camp, and the youngest in the camp got everything. He was the most useless learner. He was an apprentice, so we got all the dirty work. And you were hoping you'd get next year, they'd get another young fella, so we take your place. And that's how it worked. There was 9 men in the camp plus a cook.
And how long did it take for a second apprentice to come along? How long did you have as the youngest?
Yeah, not that long. Maybe mid-year. Some of the boys didn't want to go on to school, so they went bush. And someone asked me just lately, did I do a trade? And I said yes. And they said, what was that? I said, that was ringing. I don't know if anybody knows what ringing is, but that's the light. It's our life. And I said, it was ringing. I did a trade because I'd been doing it for 60 years, so it must be a trade.
Indeed.
And it's totally different these days because mostly they get contractors. And they do what we call a round and mustering. That means they do the whole property. So that's what they call a round. And then they move on to the next property and muster it. In the old days, the stations had their own plant of men. And we did everything from all the cattle work, all the horse work, all the yard building, all the dips, all the old, they were arsenic dips those days. We didn't know how dangerous that was, so we used to clean the dips out. We'd get in the water, in the arsenic water with 5-gallon tins and just bail the arsenic water out on the ground beside the dip. Sometimes we thought we might have had fleas, so we washed our hair in it. So I just look back on how dangerous that was these days, whether that affected a lot of people later in life. And also the dust in the cattle yard, it was just, you couldn't even see the cattle. So maybe that affected a lot of older fellas' lungs as they got older. So it hasn't affected me too much.
Except for Parkinson.
Except maybe the may have done something. Yeah, when you look back, you wonder what all that stuff that you did, which one may have, and it's highly possible. because Parkinson in my family is not hereditary. I can go way back to my great grandfather. There was nothing in any of those people like Parkinson's. Yeah, it's all interesting. Now we've come 60 years later. I had a look the other day. I've been working since 1960. So I started to add that up, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. And yeah, so I can when I'm doing something or trying to do something now, I can generally say I'm too old for this rubbish. So
But he still does it.
I still attempt, and that's one of my main topics, I think, of this interview, to try and tell people that it's not all impossible. If you keep going to the limit, then going a little further if you can. If you feel you can do it, by all means do it, because you can't do yourself any more harm. I found anyway, you can just a little further, a little longer, a little better. If anything, you'll sleep better that night. So I like to see there's no boundaries. If there's a boundary, I like to cross just to improve my well-being. And by doing that, it has improved my lifestyle. I went from bedrock for 2 years to a fairly dark place where I didn't want to talk to my family. I didn't listen. They'd speak to me and they'd just go over my head. It wouldn't go in. And I just stayed in that dark place for a while. And then I got going a little with the help of family and good wife and family. And they just encouraged me a little more. I reluctantly sold my horses. Kept my favourite one right to the last, but then it got too good. Or it got that bad. So I sold her and I was on foot. And it wasn't really nice, but along come integrated living with their scooter. So that helped me immensely. That lifted me so I could get about and do some of my chores on the property. So I started to lift mentally. So then I could do a few things. So I was getting a little more satisfied then with myself, how I was going, and I just got a little better and a little better and a little better. And yeah, so I decided I can do things now and I can push the boundaries, which I decided to do. And it is working mentally for me.
Yeah, that's great. In terms of your health journey, it was about 7 years ago, the
Yes.
diagnosis of Parkinson's, and then
Yes.
2 years of non-acceptance or just not wanting to deal with it. Is that, yeah. And then it's been another 5 years. Can you tell us that journey through to this good place?
When you get the first diagnosis, yes, you go rock bottom, and then you go back to the doctor and you're told that you've got Parkinson's. The next rock bottom is they tell you there's no disease, no cure. That's real hard. That's a big whack in the guts, that is. You have to deal with that. More silence, more dark places for a while, and then slowly climb out of the hole with the help of with your loved ones. And yes, slowly crawl out and just start pushing boundaries and still pushing boundaries.
Excellent. I bet you're very good at it, and a lifetime of learning, dealing in risky situations. In the bush, you're always dealing with quite risky situations. So how do you measure that? How do you judge how far to go?
I think till your body tells you not to.
Mm-hmm.
I will go with my body. All right, 77-year-old. A lot of people, say it's your age, but it's only a number. And even with Parkinson's, it's still only a number. I was a farrier, so I almost give all my gear, about to give all my gear away. And then I said, I'll give this a go. So I used to be able to shoe about 5 horses per day, to 6. Then I put one shoe on one horse perhaps per day perhaps. And and then I was talking to my son. I can't hit the nail because of my shaking hand. So he said, Dad, I've got because he's a carpenter by trade as well. And he said, we've got a little hammer there that might help. So he came home with this hammer. He came home with 2 hammers. We were sitting at the table and he had 2 parcels. And he gave me one and my great grandson one. So that's the level where I was at with hammering, and he's 3.
Oh.
So we're both starting again with a new hammer, and now it has improved my horseshoeing. I can do it. Before I was, yeah, the job was pretty ordinary, and being a farrier, I wasn't real happy with the job when it was finished. So I got my new hammer now. I've accepted the new hammer. I've accepted where I'm at with the farrieing, and now I put shoes on almost as good as I did when I was going well.
Oh, right.
I kept at it. I kept at it. I got the right tools that suited me. The hammer that suited me made a big difference because my son's a farrier as well, so he knows what I'm going through. And yeah, I can happily put a shoe on my horse now, but still one per day perhaps. And the perhaps is if the body feels like it. And but shoeing's a pretty hard job, and you sweat, and a lot of people don't like it. It's a hard job, but
On your back
on your back, yes.
and his legs.
And a 77-year-old back's not real good.
Mm.
And the Parkinson's is mainly in my legs. And my grandson built. He's a good farrier as well. He built me a stand that I could put the horse's foot on, and work the foot on the stand. So
Great.
it's just getting all the aids to help you with your chores that you still want to do. It is a big thing. And my son and grandson, they do exactly what I've been doing. They know what I'm trying to achieve, and they just help me along the way. They're all good farriers, they're all good horsemen, so they all just help me along the way. And they might put a saddle on my horse, and I don't want them to do it anymore. I want to do it myself. I was having to get someone to put a saddle on my horse, and now I do it myself. I just got a little bit more determined, and now I get it myself. And then I used to have a tin beside the horse to get on. In the last couple of weeks, I've given the tin away. So I don't want a tin anymore. Yes. So you just keep pushing that boundary. And now I've got a young horse that knows nothing. And a lot of people say I should not be on a young horse. But we can assess the horse. My son would say, don't get on that horse if he didn't think it was suitable. They all think he's now suitable. So they said, what are you going to do with him? I said, I'm going to turn him into an old man's horse. So, and because I've been down that track for 60 years, I wouldn't tell it to anybody else with no experience to do that sort of thing, because I can expect what they are going to do. Because we broke in a lot of wild horse early days, so we know what a horse is capable of if he decides to. So I've got this young horse, he knows nothing, so he'll only know what I teach him. That's another sort of, what do you call it, challenge that I can take on. The horse is quiet enough for me to do all those things on, and so I can turn him into an old fella's horse now. Before I got back on my feet, I wouldn't even attempt. I wouldn't even attempt it at all. It just was too low, or not confident enough. Now I'm confident, a lot more confident now, and yeah, just by pushing my boundaries. If you push a boundary like that, you really got to know what the other end is. I know what the other end is with this horse, because we've broken hundreds of horses, and we know what that other end is, or what this animal's capable of. If you don't, I wouldn't advise anybody to do it. What I'm doing, if they know nothing about horses, if they're old stockmen, yeah, definitely do what I'm doing. But it's just an example of pushing boundaries where everybody advises you not to, because they saw me before, they saw my shaking, and they think, oh, should you be doing that?
And stumbling.
And my stumbling as well. But should you be doing this? The door's only open a little bit for you, and what's there to lose? They say, oh, you might have a fall. You could have a fall. But I got half an idea all the time what the horse is capable of, or I'm ahead of him what he's about to do. I'm an old horseman myself, and I've been around horses all my life for that 60-odd years, and I know what's coming next. But I wouldn't advise that to a person who doesn't know about horses. And I'd have a profession and take that on board rather than I wouldn't take on a motor car, driving a fast motor car or anything like that. But around horses, stock, but I'd be very wary in a cattle yard with cattle now. We've got a friend just down the road. He just got trampled. He's hasn't got any disease, but he's old, and he just got trampled with a cow. 3 broken ribs, broken arm, and all that sort of stuff. So just stay away from all that sort of stuff. even though I've had 60 years with stock and you can predict what they're going to do most times, but they're unpredictable. So yeah, just stay around. Yeah, stay fairly safe. But yeah, but with this horse I've got, in their movements, know what to expect. So
Six decades of training will do that, and very close daily use. Yes, Colleen.
I was just going to tell you something that he did yesterday. Henry's a saddler as well. Yet, and this isn't the actual whip he was given to fix, but this is his own whip that needed a new whip ball put on it or whatever. And he can tell you how he did it all.
But it's for an old fella who's got Parkinson's real bad. Needs his whip so he feels at home. So he can come out and crack his whip. And it's all wobbly and there's a piece missing. And because he shakes too much, he can't do it. He sent it out to me a couple of days ago and I've fixed it for him. And hopefully it can give him some more happiness using his old whip. Because I know what he's going through. And so I hope he's a lot worse than I am in the hands. Mine's mainly from the waist down. But he shakes pretty badly. So I hope he gets some joy now out of cracking his whip. Because I know what he's going through and I know what he's missing. And I just hope he can get some joy out of cracking his whip. He's got a bit of acreage out of town. And I think the neighbours' dogs come over and annoy his horses or whatever. So he cracks the whip and chases them home. I'd imagine that's what he's doing.
Yeah, when you have so many skills, it's a wonderful thing to be able to still use them.
Mainly help somebody. I do this. My family, they're all got whips and they all use them all. And when I go up there, I'll fix them all for them and keep them all. What do you call it? Service them all. Just to watch them be able to use the whip I fix for them is real good satisfaction for mine. And to get away from, not so much to get away from here, but just to get up there where they're working stock all the time, which I used to, is great just to sit on the rail and just watch them all work stock. So mentally, I still love my home here, because I've got what I like here. I've built it up and I can't use it to the extent I used to anymore, but I just like to go up there and watch my family and my great-grandson just grow up amongst the stock. And I've got a grandson now. He's managing a property right up near Normanton. And that's his first manager's job, so he's the manager, and he's only 28, I think, year old, going on 40. And he got my two great grandsons, and he's just carrying on a tradition. We've got 3 or 4 generations of stockmen. It makes me feel really good to go and watch them. They've learned off the older stockmen and just put it into their practice now. And now he's a manager. He must have learned fairly well. Well, we've taught him well. It's a big thing to watch that, to see that happening. And to me, to get out of that dark place to where I am now, I can see them all going. I appreciate them all going. They appreciate us going up there, visiting them, and around the cattle yard and watching them go. No, it's really good.
That's very special. And tell me, how do you manage your expectation when you used to be able to shoe, say, 6 or 7, there's 5 or 6 horses a day, and now it's 1? How do you manage that expectation?
That's only 1 foot per day.
Sorry, 1 foot.
I wouldn't get to do 1 horse, because what happens is you do 1 foot really good, you do a good job, you go to the next one, then your knees start to give away, and then you start to dislike the job. But if you just do enough that you still proud of what you've achieved, just as I just said, 1 foot per day, perhaps. And perhaps is a big thing if you to know where you're at. If you're halfway through that 1 foot and you feel like you don't want to do any more, just stop. And just have a spell and then think, I can't go any more? Yeah, I can a little more, so do a little more and just keep it at that. And when your body tells you to stop, just stop. But what I do when the body tells me to stop, then I cool off, then I attempt a little more before I stop. Even when I want to stop, I just attempt a little more. It just helps. And it might help you sleep at night. Just doing that little extra. Yeah, going to bed tired is a great thing.
Yes.
Going to bed wide awake is not a good thing.
No.
Going to bed tired of what you've achieved through the day is very satisfying mentally. I think that's what slowly lifted me up. And I suppose you heard about the heart attack.
Yeah, please tell me how you went with that.
We're on the property. We go there caretaking now, feed the horses. When my son and daughter-in-law are away, we go up and caretake. So at about, I don't know, about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I started to get the pain. Rang the flying doctor and he said it was reflux. He hasn't had heart attack pain.
Well, he didn't say it was reflux till after you put the spray under your tongue. And when the spray didn't work, he said, you've got reflux.
Yeah, he gave us a magic spray to spray under my tongue, and it didn't work, the pain. So he said, oh, you're having reflux? Yeah, righto. Yeah, that pain, something different than reflux. And then he gave us the strongest painkiller that was in the medicine chest and stuff there, and it never worked at all either. A rush trip now down towards Cairns. We ran triple O.
We've driven 50k from the station, and on the way, but he was in massive pain because probably the first 10k's or so it resided a little bit because of the painkillers, but by the time we got to the main highway and we still had another 40k to drive, he was talking to his mother. He was hallucinating.
To my dead mother.
Yeah. And I just kept telling him different creek crossings and where we were. And when I got to Mount Surprise at midnight, I dialed 000 from there and told him where we were. And I was flicking her up pretty well, doing about 100. And we then drove another 40-odd K before we saw the ambulance lights coming, disappearing and coming, yeah. They were good once we met up with them. I was able to tell them where to drive off the road. And, yeah, and luckily we had one bar reception then. And so as they did his ECG and it printed out, they took a photo of it and emailed it straight to Cairns Base Hospital. And yeah, and then it was to give Henry this special injection they've got just to relax all the muscles in his body. And they worked on him and strapped him down and did lots of things in that time. And I suppose it took about an hour. And we left at 3 o'clock in the morning and they told me not to go over 100 k's anymore. And we still had about an hour's drive to Ravenshoe, and they ordered then for the emergency helicopter to take Henry to Cairns. And Henry was strapped down, but by the time I got there, Henry didn't know that I'd climbed in the helicopter with him or anything. And yeah, but anyhow, all's well.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, he had a heart stint the next afternoon and he was then flying.
Yeah, I wouldn't have walked 30 or 40 metres before that heart attack. And then I had an extended stint put in, and then they couldn't stop me. I just kept walking and I felt like a brand new man. So I went from about 2 to about 8 as in energy. Geez, I got this brand new energy. And I sat up in bed and I said, I don't want to pee in that bottle anymore. Can I unhook all these things? And he said, oh yeah, you can unplug them. I said, right. I unplugged them and put them over my shoulder and walked to the toilet. I walked out of the toilet, I'm feeling pretty good. So I walked past her 5 times.
The nurse's station
in the middle of all the wards. Before I wouldn't have walked halfway before the heart attack.
Wow.
And I went around 5 times, and the last 5, half of the last 5, I decided to jog. And the nurse said, I think you better go back to bed now.
You were feeling too good.
I was feeling really well. And from that high, I went right up. Now, I've come back off that a bit, but I'm nowhere like I was before the heart attack.
And so when was that?
3 months.
Beginning of May, 5th of May.
Not long, yeah. Wow.
I've just gone from strength to strength up to about now, and it's take off now, but I'm way ahead of where I was before that heart attack. So,
in terms of energy levels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My shaking in my hands gone. I was shaking my hand. I had stopped signing my name. Now I'm starting to practice it again. I think I'm getting a bit better at signing my name. And it's gone to my leg. My leg shakes, but my hand has stopped shaking. So I can hit the nail now on the head. Well, that was my problem before. I couldn't hit the nail, so I've got a hammer with a bigger head. I can hit the nail pretty well now. That has improved. Whether it's got it must have something to do with the Parkinson's. It has helped. It's helped the Parkinson's a lot. So now I can walk. As Michael J. Fox said, your body, when you got Parkinson's, it divorces that limb. My leg used to get left behind. My left leg used to get left behind. If I didn't tell it to pick up and walk, it would just stay behind. So when I made the brain connect with that leg, I just started sweating. So it must have been immense strain on that brain to make it go back and pick up that leg. And now it's not a big deal. It is not as big a deal as it was to get that leg going. Now, whether I've trained the brain to pick up that leg again, I don't know. But I worked on when that leg got left behind, stop, pick it up, and make it work. But it must be a hell of a strain on your brain to click on back that limb. And I didn't realise how important that was. Now we've got a river there. We've got a bit of a bank there, and now I walk up that bank. Because if that leg don't work, you don't get up the bank. So now it just naturally clicks in and helps me get up the bank. So most afternoons I'll go down that bank and walk back up. And if you don't use it going down or up, you fall over. So it has to click in and pull its weight. So it's been a lot better. Just by just doing that little exercise. And people say, "Oh, do you walk?" To me, walking is like going to the gym, just doing weights, and mentally it's got nothing to do with mentally. It's just you might be building a big body up, but mentally you're not gaining for mind. It's little chores that you've got to keep that brain, using that brain all the time. And using that brain to get that leg going up that bank is way better than a couple of K walk, mentally and physically, I'd imagine. Because that leg now, I have to stand on that leg now to get on my horse. It has to take all my weight to get on that horse. I'm training it now. You've got to take that weight. It's nearly pulling its weight now. Only it shakes. I think at this stage I've trained that leg to come back into use. I may not have had it as bad as a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure I've trained that brain to take that leg back so far. Because to get up that bank, if you don't put it in the right spot, you'll slip over. So that brain has to tell that leg to put that foot there. Otherwise, if it's in the wrong spot, you won't make it up the bank. It's just a little exercise I've got for myself, and it gets the leg working. It's pretty simple. I think that has helped. But I think just pushing those boundaries a little all the time, and I hope to run up the bank shortly. That's my aim.
Good on you.
That's my aim. So.
And how long have you been doing the walk up the bank?
Oh, since not long after my heart attack. Before my heart attack, I wouldn't even walk to the bank. And but the bike helped me get there. I get off the bike, I can go down the bank and up the bank. If I don't feel like, if I've done too much, I can get on the bike and come home. So, or I can just do a little more. Before I used to call it laziness, but it's just the disease wouldn't let me go. But since the heart attack and the new stint and the more blood going through, I would imagine, the better blood flow, whatever it is, it's made it a lot better since the heart attack.
And tell me how you use the scooter. How long have you had Crystal, the scooter?
That you were able to purchase as part of the home care package that you started with Integrated Living in 2022.
We got it last year before Christmas. Oh, early this year, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the heart attack, I used it all the time. I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do any job. I thought I was getting lazier and lazier, but I just had some bad blood flow, what I can see now. I use it less now after the heart attack because I don't really want to rely on. Otherwise, you get back to where you started again. But I still use it to help. I can go further now with my expectations of what I can do. So I can jump on the bike and, I can't walk that far. I'll jump on the scooter and go and get that job done and come back. And it's way better than just watching it needing to be done and it's not getting done. Now you get on the scooter, all right, I'll go and do it and get that done. Before I relied 100%, now I'm about 70 on it now, but I still use it. And just to get that little bit extra again out of myself, I'll use it. I'll incorporate that with the chores I do. And I can do a lot more chores now. Like, yeah, it's made it a lot better. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And in you, when I spoke to you earlier, last time you were talking about the white line, staying on the white line, staying mentally right. Can you tell our listeners who might be struggling with similar challenges how you do that?
Yeah, I just give myself chores like that walking up the bank. That's one of your white lines. You're getting that leg going, and if you're feeling okay, keep going. That's your white line. If you stop, you bump the white line. You keep going straight ahead again, fix yourself. It don't matter how long it takes. I'm on my own most of the time. Oh, well, I've got Colleen's close most of the time, but I'm on my own. Then I can stop. I can relax for a while and then start again. Next day. Where you were followed before, you'll probably find you've got a little better because you're out of yourself and you go and bump the other white line. Getting going pretty early. Get a reason to get out of bed. That's the main thing. You got to have a reason to get out of bed. So I was up at my son's and he said, "Dad, you need a dog." Oh, do I? Okay. So I bought a pup home. Something to get out of bed for, to let it out for a run. You're not laying in bed. That dog needs to get let out for a little run so it can have a pee. And, I've got to get out of bed. Okay. Get out of bed, do your dog, fix your dog up, because we're into working dogs as well. All our dogs, they're locked up most of the time, but they get 2 fully supervised runs per day. So that gives me something to get out of bed, go over to that shed, let that dog out. Yeah, I think with that disease bad enough, it's not hard to stay in bed
Yeah.
and feel a bit sorry for yourself. And so I think that, you need an excuse to get out of bed. So I went back up to the property and I said to my son, "Do I still have a young horse here?" He said, "Yes." So I got my grandson to give it a ride. I didn't want to buck it in, do anything silly. So he helped me put some shoes on it. And I've been riding him steadily ever since, pushing boundaries. My family would probably, if they had a drone on me when I'm out of sight, they'd probably scold me. But I'm just pushing boundaries, and yeah, I'm just happy doing it. I get on him for the morning, and my grandson's got a few old cows here, and I just take him out on the road and talk to everybody that goes past. And who's that old fellow out on the road? Oh, he's some silly old fellow because there's not too many stockmen around in this country. They wonder what I'm doing, but I'm stealing a bit of grass out on the main road. So, and everyone when it goes past and wants a yarn, well, I have a talk. That's pretty encouraging because I don't have to use my legs. It's like the scooter. I don't have to use my legs. I just steer it. And the difference between if I want to go somewhere on a horse, I've got to go and catch my horse, find my saddle, saddle him up, and then go. If I want to go on the scooter, I just jump on the scooter and go. So
you just got to remember to recharge it.
Yeah, I've just got to remember to charge it. So I use them both pretty well. But the horse is great exercise as well. It gives you you move every muscle in your body. You're a bit sore the next few hours, but it's a good sore. A lot of people don't want to do it because it gets a bit sore, but I use it as a good sore, and it'll be gone by next morning. Another excuse to get up and do something with an animal. I've done that all my life. I think just do that something mentally all the time. You have to think ahead to make sure you get the feed for that animal, make sure that animal's fed, and so it's just something to occupy that mind. So it's working all the time, and you need a plan B. I don't think if you look at plan A all the time, I don't think it would work for me mentally. If I'd done the same old thing like in exercise in a gym or something, that wouldn't work for me mentally. But doing chores, even feeding the chooks, you still have to think. It's not just a continual same old thing every day, all day. And a lot of people might not have that, but if you can have a plan A, B, C, D, that I think mentally for me, that's the best thing for my mind.
Yeah, tell us about that, Colleen.
So there's Crystal. You can see
the
her.
original Crystal.
Yeah, that's her.
And that's pretty fast speed, that is.
Yeah, what were you winning there?
A canter.
That was at Marie Barodia camp draft. And that one is a son camp drafting her daughter.
Oh, that was
Crystal's
Crystal's daughter. Oh, wonderful.
And that's Crystal's father. That's this is me. That's Crystal's daughter, Slipper. So we put Crystal to this stallion and got that Slipper, and that's our son. There.
Oh, that's his son riding.
So I tell everybody we bred the mare and we bred the boy.
Yeah, well done. What would be the most satisfying win you've had on a horse over your time?
It's very hard. Like most camp drafts, there's 200 to 300 horses in each camp draft, and I won 2 on the one day, in the one weekend. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty hard to win one. So to win 2 is good. Yeah.
Wow.
Now I've got to watch. Now I've just got to watch.
But and what's that like? Mind. Yeah, you don't mind that?
I don't mind. Yeah, yeah. One sad thing. One of the old mares we did breed that our family had done very well on. She died foaling a week ago. So, but she was 23-year-old, but yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment for us. But anyway, that's animals.
That's the first and the second on the one day in the same camp draft.
That's Crystal, yeah.
Oh, that's Crystal too. Yeah, I can see that.
And because we've been working stock all our life, it's just a second nature to us to camp draft.
Yes.
To show off our horses and see who's got the best. And no, it's a good sport. My son grew up camp drafting. Now he's got friends who grew up with him camp drafting.
Yes.
And now we see his children playing with children, and they will be camp drafters later on, so they will be friends together. And camp drafting, it's totally different to rodeo. Camp drafting is mainly a family sport because we got from 7-year-old to 70-year-old all riding, females and male. So it's more of a family sport. So yeah, and there's camp drafting families. We all just all know each other. It's a pretty good family to be in, and yeah. And if you run a camp draft now, some camp drafts need 3,000 cattle.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot of cattle. So we're fairly lucky. A lot of the people who camp draft are cattle owners. So they'll donate their cattle for the camp draft. So it's a big job, big donation, big everything. A lot of people aren't paid for it. They just go and do it for the fun of it. And just to meet other families and all the kids play together. It's a sort of a family, look after everybody. That's why we like it. And in part, we have run camp drafts. Our son and daughter-in-law, they run camp drafts. It's just a big family outing for people with horses. All speaking the same language.
Yeah.
The weather, cattle prices, and horses.
Yeah, that's right. The 3 majors.
If you're not in any of those, don't go to a camp draft.
And you talked about the social connection and then living in remote parts. It's not easy necessarily to ensure you're not isolated and you're connecting with people. How did you really focused on that for a while to bring you out of the slump? Could you tell us a bit about that?
I stayed away for a long time. I didn't want to go. The big thing is you don't want people to see how you are. They know how you were, but people are amazing. They
accept you.
They accept you, especially that everyone says, "How are you? How are you going?" What?
And don't worry, when we get there, we've got some young people. They all come over and help. Everybody calls us Nan and Grandy. So, yeah, can we help young load, Nan and Grandy? Can we help you load up? Can we do this for you? Can you do something else for you? We're looked after really well.
And that's what brought us out of all that dark bit. People accept it. You look around, there are other people in the same boat, and they're all getting looked after. So I think that's support. You need that support. I just feel sorry for people who haven't got a lot of good support. And because we're all in the same business, we know what we need or don't need, we don't need a lot of pity. We just need a lot of company. As you get older, city-wise, I found, I go to the city. That's the loneliest place for me in the city. But I go to a little country town, that most of them know me, I nearly know everyone. Or if I go to a cattle sale, I know nearly everyone. I like to go to the place where I know a lot of people. And they're all very accepting. How are you going? All that sort of stuff. That will help immensely to bring you out of that sort of dull. And you'll go there, that's for sure, and for a little while. But your support, I think, is amazing. And people, there's a lot of good people in this world, and they'll help you. Yeah, that's how we got through all that, and still getting through it. Like we've still got people calling us Nan, and I'm Grandy to everybody. Most people don't know my name. That's who I am. Yeah, and I think have time for the younger people. We have time for younger people to listen to younger people, speak to them, and have a talk to them. Yeah, I think they're happy talking. A lot of young people come and have a talk to us around campsites, waiting for their turn, or it's not their event, so they're waiting. So they come and have a talk to us, and we're never lonely. We've all got someone. Oh, can I get you a drink? Can I get you something to eat? Can I? No, that helps immensely. And once you get out there and accept who I am, what I am, they all accept you and all come and stop and speak. So that gets you out of a lot of dark places.
Or it's Grandy, can you come and have a look at my saddle?
Yeah,
do I need another girth? Do I need something? Or Grandy, my horse broke my bridle. Might you be able to fix it for me, please?
Yeah, I do those sort of things. Get out and about. Don't worry about your disability. People are fairly acceptable, especially in our areas. And that encourages you to go to those sort of events and socialise. And usually with you run into somebody you know, they've got somebody with them that you don't know, so they introduce you straight away. So you get to know somebody else. Then if they're into horses, you get into a conversation with horses. So then it goes on and on. So all cattle, all dogs. We got the three curses, the horses, the dogs, and the cows.
And what about the writing, Colleen? You've just launched your third book. How do you fit that into your partnership?
We don't have kids in the house. Is fairly lonely now, so
yeah.
But my last book, Unearthing Ironsley Industry through Bygone Days, and all our travels and my book launches, donating it to different charities. I've gone to schools and read stories out of my book. We both go, and there's always somebody that you meet, and now I'm organising a pink ribbon breast cancer morning tea for next Friday. So I've just been in and put raffles together and options, and we fit it all in.
And what's it?
We can't get accused of dying out.
And what advice would you have, Colleen, for people supporting loved ones through hard times?
I've been doing that all my life, and I think because my parents did the same, there was always a tragedy in the area where we grew up. And just like yesterday, not far from us, there was massive bushfires, and my sister-in-law was in amongst that. They've lost all their grass off their property. And so I said to Henry, I'm going to cook supper for them tonight and take supper over for them tonight. And she doesn't know because I can't get her on the phone. She had an eye specialist appointment in Cairns today, but we'll just land up there with supper. If they don't eat it tonight, they'll eat it tomorrow night. Just a gesture.
Meaning we don't highlight my problem.
Yeah. Pardon?
I find the main thing is I don't want to highlight my problem.
Yes.
I'm just one of the mob, and we go along together. Whatever your problem is, you're all accepted. Everyone's got a little something, so we're just all accepted. We don't highlight any problems. And that's how we are, who we are.
Like on the weekend, because we've had trouble with our water in the rivers dropped for our pumping and that sort of thing. And a young next door neighbour who'd gone to school with our grandchildren, and we helped his family through. They lost his dad with leukemia, but Clay came down with his whatever he called a digger and dug out in the river so he could get our pump blower into water. So I've already made him a plum pudding because he loves fruit cake or that. He can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start cooking, and I've made him a plum pudding to deliver down there. He said he didn't want anything, but I know he loves plum pudding. So that's one way we can just say, thanks, Clay.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing having such a supportive community around, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. And it probably speaks to who you are. If
Yeah.
people will come and help you like that, it's pretty rewarding for us. As I say, we don't highlight my problem and we don't even speak about it to anybody. They just accept like me how I am, and the conversations go on. There's nothing about what's my problem. We just talk normally. So yeah.
And Henry, I know you were keen to highlight those things that people can look out for in terms of the potential of heart attacks. Could you tell me a few of those signs that you were keen to highlight?
Tiredness is one of them, and just don't want to walk anywhere. I had soreness under the arms, and I had that for a couple of weeks.
But we did ring a doctor about it.
Yeah, we rang a doctor about it. Yeah, yeah, a few of those signs, but
the pins and needles under the arms stuff.
Yeah, then I got really sore.
Yeah.
And that's probably the blood not going, not pumping, not going anywhere.
And that night the pain started across your back.
Yeah, and Triple O was brilliant. They organised everything straight away, and they were on the ball, and everything went smoothly. And they said to me, "What do you think about your heart? Why are you got all this energy?" I said, "If you're an old mechanic, you had an old tractor, you have a dirty filler where the fuel's not getting through. You put a new one in, it's going like new again." I said, "That must be what he done." We get up and joke with him.
Just a cardiac doctor.
He's one of the brightest young heart doctors in Australia now, and he's up not far from me. He's in Cairns, and we know him personally. He just laughed. I said, "Just put a new filter in there and got the blood flowing." That's really what he done. He's cleaned out those veins, put a stent in there, and the difference is amazing. Amazing. If someone asked me and they had Parkinson's and they were slowing down, I would tell him definitely look at those after, because what it's done for me, I still don't believe how much better I feel in myself, and wanting to get more energy. I've got more energy. If I just had no energy at all, didn't want to go anywhere, not didn't want to, couldn't. I came out of the hospital, new man. I thought, left the old fella behind. Yeah. And the main thing is, if you get that feeling, go with it. Because I said, my window's not open very much, and I'm going to take full advantage of this new life. And I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going. And more challenges yet. There's more to come, and I intend to go a little further. Just keep going. Just keep going till they tell me, or till my body says that's far enough.
I think, though, Elizabeth, one of the other things is Henry must take his Parkinson's tablets at the same time and regularly. Because when he was being filmed the other day, I was sitting under the tree and he was riding his crystal and being interviewed. And as I walked across, I know the signs, and I could see his left foot really shaking. And he was due. I came straight back, got his tablet, gave to him. When he's under the pressure like that, he doesn't always notice it, but his carer, who's been with this for quite a few years, I could see, and his left foot was just sitting on the scooter, and it was really starting to shake.
What about 54 years tomorrow?
55.
55 years tomorrow.
You've been married 55 years tomorrow. Happy anniversary. That's wonderful. Oh, that's so
probably knows a bit about me now. The same as that filming. It was challenging. Another challenge.
They're a big day. Yeah.
And that wasn't annoying. It was challenging.
Oh, good.
I call that a challenge. I don't call it annoying or nothing. It didn't worry me. All right, back up. Right, I go forward, back up. And that's challenging, I'll call that. And even when we're all finished, Andrew was looking over the creek and I was walking up the bank. I said, "There's my challenge for the day. I'm walking up that bank." And he saw me walking up the bank.
That's fantastic. And where do you get your patience from? Is it a life lived in the bush? You learn patience over time.
My grandfather was half Chinese.
Okay.
I think they're patient people. I find Chinese very patient people. And my old grandfather was a very patient man. He had a very tough wife. And he used to take her a cup of tea every morning. She didn't deserve it, but he took her a cup of tea. He was a cranky old thing because they read me. and I knew them well. And because when my mum and dad went bush, I had to stay home to get educated.
Gotcha.
So I lived with my grandparents, and that old half Chinese grandfather was a great old man. Everyone loved him. He was just a great old patient man.
But I think being around stock, if you're training stock, you have to be patient.
Oh yeah, horses, cattle. If you don't be patient with them, if you're hard on them, they're not going to respond. They only respond to good firm training, but not cruelty. That's the thing. Yeah. Got to be firm, but not cruel.
Yes,
we
there's
learned a lot
such
of that. Yeah,
balance to it.
Yes, no, that's exactly right. You can't spoil them, and they can't let them get away with too much. A bit like kids.
Like kids.
Just like kids. And no, just be firm and patient, and it'll come. It'll work out. We broke in some of the toughest horses and some of the softest horses, and just to know the difference. And and you get a fair bit of patience over. Otherwise, nothing gets done. You don't get paid. You only get paid on results. We only used to get paid on results, and we had to get results, but no, not cruelly. Impatient.
Any last thoughts you'd like to share with listeners from either of you or both?
You can tell people that there is a dark place. There is a way out. It's up to you to work on it. Don't just give in and just keep working at it. That's all I can say. Keep challenging yourself. Don't overdo it, but keep challenging yourself. I'm still doing it. I've been doing it a little while now. Since I've come out of hospital with my heart attack, I've been doing that ever since. I've been given this second go, and I'm taking it with both hands. I'm not going to. I'm going to take it with both hands, and if it gets me into trouble, it will. But 77, what have we got to lose?
Good advice.
Yep.
Inspiring.
Yeah. No, just keep challenging yourself, and don't overdo it. Let your body tell you when you've had enough. But just try to keep head up and keep going.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah.
Wonderful wisdom. You too, Colleen.
Yeah, no, it was great. We enjoyed it. I mean, if it can help somebody, I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. These stories, they help others who are going through the same thing. And when you're stuck in that dark place, you need the help the most.
Yeah, no, it's not a nice place. I wasn't. Colleen would be talking to me, and I wouldn't even be listening. Whether it's the brain just shutting it all out, I don't know. But it just go over my head. I wouldn't even answer it. I just keep staring ahead. And I think it's just that place you don't want to be. And,
no.
But there is a way out. There is a door there if you want to open it up. Mine's been open with this heart attack, and I've got this new lease. I'm taking it with both hands. And if anybody gets a little open door, don't shut it.
Yeah.
Just take it. Don't leave it shut. I shut a few doors, unfortunately, but when they opened up this time, I went through it. Now I'm going through as many as I can. As they open up, I'll go. They can talk to that wise old fella on a horse now after lane feeding cows. Yeah. They all wave, and some don't. You can tell the ones from the city, they don't wave.
Yeah.
But the local ones wave. But no, it's all good. Just to see different people. I study everybody and how they are and how they talk, if they want to talk, if they smile, if they're cranky because I'm held them up. And everyone's in a hurry on the road these days. And if they complain, I just say, get up a bit earlier. Leave earlier.
Exactly.
Leave earlier. It's all good.
A good place to be, 77 and on the eve of his 55th wedding anniversary. How wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
What will you do tomorrow?
They're both smiling. So, we've got 2 great grandsons. So
yes, 2 sons, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great grandchildren.
A son
and a daughter.
Sorry, a son and a daughter. Yes. Yep. Sorry.
5 grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
Yeah.
No, we're proud of them.
Very. And they call you a lot, don't they? You have long yarns with them. Yeah. Pass on the wisdom.
Yes. Yeah. I hope so. Make it a fairly wise. Well, I got a fairly wise son as well. He's pretty. Yeah. He's done everything the hard way, and he's got there, which is a lot of hard work and a lot of heartaches. And but they made it, and they've got what they want. They're going along nicely. Yes. Now their grandparents.
Oh yes, of course, because they're grandparents now. Of course,
Yes,
but yes.
yeah. They're
And
grandparents.
was it your son who said, "Whatever you're doing, Dad, keep doing it"?
Yep. He don't.
When did
He gives me no advice at all. He just says, "Whatever you're doing, Dad, keep doing it."
Mhm.
He encourages me to keep going too, to keep pushing boundaries. I think he likes to see me go push boundaries. You yeah. But when he bought that hammer each for my great grandson and myself, yeah, that put me on the great grandson's level.
Life's weird like that, isn't it? Sometimes
Yes,
that
yeah.
happens.
But the good thing is that all the family can get together. We all get on pretty well, and my grandsons respect me really good, and my son. So yeah, there's no laughing at old Grandy. He's the old time. He's the wise old fellow, and that's how we usually have it in those families. Yeah. So we're proud of them and what they've done and how they look after us. And yeah,
Yeah, that's wonderful. And what will
yeah.
you both do tomorrow to celebrate your 55th wedding anniversary?
Henry goes for a massage in the morning at Upper State in Atherton, so we're going to be there early. But after that, we've got a Junie Taylor, who was the cook at Carpentaria.
No relation.
No, she was a cook at Carpentaria when Henry went there at 14. And
She nursed me as a baby. She nursed me as a baby.
And because she's a widow now, and she's had a couple of falls, and she's 90. So we're going to take lunch to her tomorrow to her house, because that's easier than us trying to get her in a car.
Yeah.
And so we will do that tomorrow.
Her and her husband raced horses, and I was their jockey.
Oh, really? Fantastic. You've done it all on a horse, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. We know a little bit about horses, so I'm fairly confident.
Like
Confident
it.
usually to life. I can do what I want to do, and more, and a bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more.
And you picked it because it's just the right temperament, this latest horse. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have taken on if he wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
What's his name?
Pistol.
Pistol.
An Australian stock horse. I think his father's Rimfire. That's how he got the name Pistol.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And his breeding goes right back too. Yeah. We bred him, and I give him to my grandson to start, and he started him, but he's up managing a property now, and it was too wet to take him up there, so he got left behind, and now I've got him home. I'm training to be an old fella's horse.
Sounds great.
Another challenge, yes. Yeah, another challenge. So yeah, so that's, and I'll put he's got shoes on now. I'll put his shoes on with my new hammer. But main thing is the accepting. That's the main thing, accepting. Doing this horse, what I used to do, accepting what I can do now, and be happy with the job finished and what I can do now, and try and improve just a little all the time, without trying to do the big job. You can't do that big job that you used to do. Accept what you can do, and if you can improve a little on that, try that. Accept where you're at. That's about the main bit of advice.
Any tricks on how to do that when you really not feeling like you can do it anyway?
Yeah, you know the job. We know the whole job, but you got to accept about how much you can do of it. Yeah, well, I know the whole job, but yeah, well, I've been handicapped, and you accept that and do with what you got. Do the job with the tools you've got, and so the tools I've been left with is one per day, perhaps. So,
yeah, one per day, perhaps. I love it.
Yeah, and if you're fit, feeling okay, do it. If you don't, call it perhaps. Yeah, but don't use it as an excuse not to do it. Yeah.
The mind can be tricky like that. You have to weigh it off.
It'll play on you. You'll lay down and don't want to get up, and you'll get fat and won't be able to get up.
Yeah.
So yeah, got to keep a little. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
So that's about probably not a bad saying. So yeah, that's about what we're trying to work on. But go to bed tired is a good thing too. You'll sleep better. You won't be waking up all night if you're a bit tired and got a bit crook in the back. But yeah, it's a good tide. A lot of people don't like that saying, but to me, it's a good tide. Help you sleep at night, and you feel better in yourself if you've achieved something. I feel a bit sorry for people who are stuck in a city somewhere that can't get out or can't do anything like that. It's a bit hard. But I've got to take my situation as it is and run with it and use it or lose it. Yeah.
Some very wise words. Thank you so much for sharing your story and wisdom.
It's great if it can help somebody.
Mm.
I don't care who you play it to. If somebody can get a little out of it, that's great. They might want to ring me and say, how do you, what do you do? This is what I do. I don't know what your situation is, but this is what I do. When I used to get younger people working for me, I'd say to them, when you're working for me, you do it this way. It's not the only way, but it's my way, and it works for me. When you go somewhere else, you might learn something different. But when you're here, this is how we do it here. It's my way, but it's not the only way. That's a big thing to remember. It's your way, but it's not the only way. There are other ways. So someone else can tell you something different. It may work for you the other way. But this way works for me. And that's it. When you're working for me, because I've had a lot of people working for me, and this is how we do it here because it works for me. This is my way, but it's not the only way. And that's another big thing to remember. Not one bloke knows everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very powerful thing, isn't it? Not to think that your way is the only, just because it works well, it doesn't mean it is the only way. Yeah.
That's the same as young people. Wants to be Farrier. That's my way, but it's not the only way. But it works for me. I'm short. This fellow might be long, tall. So it's a different way again.
Yep.
So handling horses. I'm short, so that's all those words work for a short person and a left-hander. I'm trying to teach people things about those whips and plaiting. Well, I'm left-handed. A lot of right-handed. A lot of right-handers are different, but I'm fairly lucky. The ones that want to plait, my two granddaughters are left-handed.
Are they?
Mm-hmm. So,
what about your son?
No.
So he's a farrier, but you taught him on the left, but he learned on the right. Interesting.
Yes. So there's that to think of as well when you're teaching people something. That's something to think of as well when you're teaching people. Manual about left and right-handed. Yep, there's a few things to remember and think of, and when you have a lot of people, especially young people working for you, you're trying to teach them something, and you're left-handed, they're right-handed. Mm-hmm. Whatever. They'll work it out themselves as they go along. As I said, it's not the only way. They might be right-handed. If they're right-handed, they'll do it a different way. And hopefully they'll learn to use that right hand as good as I can use my left hand. So, that's been interesting.
Oh, you've had a fascinating life. Thank you so much for sharing some of it with us, and hope to stay in touch. Much appreciated.
No, that's great. Yeah, if we can help somebody, that's good. And thanks for giving us the time. Oh,
thank you. And thank you, Colleen. You're a very multi-skilled family. A wonderful way to be.
I didn't get a lot of school. I didn't get a lot of schooling. I didn't want it.
Yeah, you're a practical man.
I hated school, they reckon, they're the best days of your life. Well, they didn't think so. So they weren't the worst, but they weren't the best.
Yeah.
That's what someone said. I said I never wore boots to school. They said, did you like boots? I said, we couldn't afford them. There was no choice. We wore no boots because we couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
And, the young ones can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford shoes. I had one book and one pencil. Now I see the kids going to school, they need a car to take all the gear there to school. Oh, I had one book and one pencil. I never even had a bag to put in my shirt. It never hurt me. Never hurt me.
Clearly not.
No.
You learned
the girls at the bank still can't understand why I can't get money out of that wall. I can't get money out of that wall.
I have tried to teach.
We'll show you how. I said, I'll forget. I don't want to know that. I know I've got money in that bank, but I can't get it out, so I don't care. Can't get it out, I can't spend it.
Yeah, that's it. That's true.
And I've got a card I don't even use. So I still like my cash. So if I got my cash, I think I'm saying to a lot of people, they should have cash, because when they go to a store and they look at their money in their hand, they look at what that costs. Instead of leaving it there, they pull out another card. If they got cash and they can't afford it, they leave it there and go home.
Yeah, it's very different.
And you get what you need, not what you want.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do. They get what they want, not what they need. That's why they're always broke. They got 3 or 4 cards that are all empty. I can't understand it.
That's very true.
If they had cash in their hand, that's not going to buy that, so we'll leave it there and go home. With the cash back in the pocket. Yeah, take what you need, or not take what you want. I don't understand a lot of it. And they're always broke. And as I said, when we were always broke, couldn't afford shoes, we were the happiest. Now people got money and they're fighting. But when we were all broke and all rode push bikes, not motor cars, we were all happier. So anyway, we lived when it was good. And we were all broke. We lived when the things were good, and we were all broke.
Yeah.
Never had any money. Go to the movies was a big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal. Yeah. So
not even using a tank of fuel over us. That's hard to fathom for me.
Yeah. We rode horses all the
Yes. Yeah. Much healthier.
That's with our transport. Yeah. No, it was a good life. Good life. We come to town, twice a year.
Amazing.
Twice a year, yeah.
Definitely didn't need money much then. You're in town only twice a year.
I started work at 14. I come home at 15. I had too much money. I never spent any of it. And I was getting? £10 a week. So that's $20 a week.
Mm.
For 6.5 days a week, I was getting $20.
Yeah. But back then, that sounds like all right, doesn't it, for a 14-year-old? That sounds pretty good.
Well, if you're a bit handier than the normal 14-year-old, you've got a bit better pay.
Mm.
So I was always a bit handier than my age group. So I got a little bit more pay all the time. I think they jumped me up to £12 a week. So that's $24. So, but we always had plenty of money. Twice a year in town, that'd give us a lot of money to go to town. 6 months' wages to go to town.
Oh. Have to trust yourself to be sensible, not blow it all at once.
We were broke for a long time, so we knew how to say hang on to it.
Yeah.
we done a lot of counting and putting it back.
Yes.
Done a lot of that. Come back next week when you got a bit more. And
yeah.
So we're taught to say we carried that on a bit, or a lot. And,
that's good.
No, it was good schooling, good grounding. I got my driver's license. I was sitting at the pub with the policeman, and I told him I wanted a driver's license. So he said, "You better drive me around to the police station to show me you can drive." He wrote it out and come back and give me my license at the pub.
They gave it to the boss.
I was 17. Yeah.
I love it.
Now you got to go through all this, so many hours driving, and P plates and yellow plates and green plates, and geez.
And it's hard to keep up with. I'm still not clear on which bit what.
Geez. I don't know how they work, but anyway, too good for me.
All right, thank you very much, and happy anniversary to you both.
Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for your time.
Bye, Henry. Bye, Colleen.
Yeah. Yep.